Hello, this is Melissa Zad. Sorry, I introduced myself to the camera. We'll get on to you. This one is Melissa Zad for Into Boxing, joined by the man himself, Mr. Eddie Hearn. How are you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Well.
First time down here. It's a nice little place, nice little boxing gym, and looking forward to being at the O2 on Sunday night.
Absolutely. I mean, have you seen the little charge points at the end of the benches?
Really? Yeah, very impressive. I mean, I like it because it's like an old school bench with USB points.
Yeah. It's kind of the old and new come together.
Very good.
Which is great. So obviously we've just kicked off fight week. The workout was today for Okolie Cieslak. Am I saying that right?
You are, Cieslak, yeah.
I struggle with that one.
Yeah.
It's a really great card. It's absolutely smashing card. Obviously it's going to be at the O2 on Sunday. A bit different. Usually we have our fight nights on Saturday.
Yes.
So starting a little bit earlier. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the main event because, as the Polish media just said to me, why did you choose Cieslak? He's a very, very good fighter. One defeat to Makabu in a good fight. And the answer is because I want to see a good fight, and I want to see how good Lawrence Okolie is, because we keep talking about he's the best cruiserweight in the world, and I truly believe that. But you've got to fight elite opposition to be able to maintain that statement. And outside of the champions, and even including the champions, Cieslak is right up there. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. Galal fight, of course, making his pro debut. Nervous, actually. I was thinking last night. It's, going in straight into a 10-round championship fight, I think it's brilliant. I think he should really be commended for that. But when I see Bautista, his opponent, and he looks really strong, really fit, and he's like, Mexicans down at that weight, very, very tough to stop these guys. So what happens when Galal, who will be too skillful for Bautista, gets to round 7 and 8 and 9 and 10? And he's only ever done 5-round WSBs. So that's the bigger challenge, I think, for Galal fight in this fight. But he's an outstanding talent, brilliant fighter. Great fight between Gurphy and Jordan Gill for the European featherweight title. Must win for Jordan. Fowler back at middleweight in a good fight. Fabio Wardley. Chev Clark making his pro debut, the Olympian. Campbell Hatton, Dempsey McKean, John Hedges. So big night, and like you said, a little bit earlier. Main event around 9 PM, and looking forward to some Sunday night boxing.
I love your breakdown of the whole card. That was really good.
Done your job for you.
We can finish now, joking.
Now you can move on to the juicy stuff.
Yes,
I know your game.
No, so I was actually catching up with Galal a little bit earlier, and what I really admire about him is just he's not letting the occasion get to him. Obviously, being an Olympic gold medalist, you've fought on the big stage, right? But as you say, it's quite an interesting matchup because it's like straight into a title fight. He's obviously fought 6 rounds? I'm sorry, 5 rounds before. Yeah, exactly. So what's going to happen when that kind of aggressive?
Well, hopefully he stops him. But again, it's hard to do. These kids are so tough. And like I said in another interview, you've got to understand, if you look at where Bautista comes from, right, which is probably a very, very tough part of Mexico, he comes in here today, he's got cameras everywhere, and he's like, this is so... Plus you're fighting an Olympic gold medalist. So you raise, everything become you're going to get a much better Bautista than you're going to get when he fights in a gym in Mexico and there's 5 people there.
Absolutely.
So you're always, as an Olympic gold medalist, you're a target to beat. He's thinking, I can change my life if I win this fight. So, and Galal, Derek Chisora said to Galal, he said, why are you doing 10 rounds? He went, you've done 4. He's going, no, I'll be fine. He went, mate, he said, when you get out there and the nerves kick in, you'll be knackered after 4 rounds. And he was like, okay. So hopefully he can stop him. But how much more refreshing is it, to watch a fight like that rather than just a 6-rounder against a gimme opponent. So these guys are good enough, so let them do it.
Absolutely. Obviously, Okolie, the world title defence, should everything go well on Sunday night? What's next for him?
We want the unification, because he's going to move to heavyweight sooner or later, but to do it without a unification would be disappointing. Mairis Briedis will be there on Saturday. He's part of the presentation team. He's character. That's the fight for me. I think that's a really, really good big fight. So hopefully, Lawrence can go well on Saturday. Briedis has got a mandatory, and then hopefully we can put the 2 in with each other.
Absolutely. So obviously we've just heard the news that, well, not just, but we've recently heard the news that Fury White's now been signed off. Do you know anything about, or can you tell us anything about, kind of White's silence over that for such a long
Just
period of
because,
time?
like, you know, when there's a purse bid, it's a very different setup and deal to a normal commercial deal. You know, if I make you an offer to sign for a fight and I say to you, right, I want you to attend 3 press conferences, I want you to allow us to have you for 6 days of filming, you know, these are things that you pay for essentially. And when a purse bid, there's a standard contract that basically says you get these flights and this is the fight date, we'll see you there. Of course Dillian will go to the pre-fight press conference, it's not a problem, but at the same time he doesn't have to do certain things. And I think when Fury comes out saying, speak up Dillian White, I think Dillian probably just looked at him and went, I'm training hard, thank you very much, I'll see you later. So Fury's gone on a media blackout, Dillian White's not saying anything, so it's going to be very quiet, but you know, hopefully we get a great fight and hopefully Dillian White can become champion.
Obviously talking about keeping it on the subject of the heavyweight division, with everything going on in Ukraine at the moment, not to get too political, but can you see that having any sort of impact on the Joshua?
I don't think so, no. I mean, obviously if Usyk will know the situation in Ukraine and he'll take part in his camp wherever he needs to take part. The fight obviously won't be in the Ukraine, so you know, a lot of those fighters, someone asked me the same thing about Dimitri Bivol and Canelo. You know, Dimitri Bivol is based pretty much most of his time in boxing camp in California. The fight will be in Las Vegas, so you know, we'll see how far this thing escalates, but I don't think it'll have any bearing on any of those fights.
Well, that's good for boxing fans.
Yes.
Obviously, we had a huge fight for the British public last weekend, Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Was a real, well, before the fight it felt like a real 50-50. Kell Brook came out looking just like it was such an emphatic win. Obviously a lot of people talking about we're going to retire, you know, is it time for him to hang up the gloves? And then there's all these murmurs about whether he could potentially face Chris Eubank Jr. or Conor Benn. Who do you think he would prefer to face?
I don't know whether he'll fight again. You know, I think he probably thought about hanging up the gloves after Terence Crawford. Then the payday come up against Amir Khan, which he had to take. You know, that worked out well for him. Now it's just, do you want another payday, or are you got enough money to sort of go, that's a nice way to bow out? Seems like a lot of people are saying that's a nice way to bow out, but at the same time, it's very tempting when someone's offering you a lot of money to fight a fight that you may think you can win. Kell looked great. Part of that was because Amir was finished, but part of that was because he trained properly and he did look great. So I think him against Conor Benn's a brilliant fight, and we'll see if Conor can win in April, and then hopefully we can get that fight made.
Right, thank you so much for your time, Eddie. I really appreciate it.